Hey, what's going on YouTube? We're back with another Borderlands video, and today's topic will be Aurelia versus Zer0. Who is the stronger sniper? So with the previous videos I've done with a topic like this, there are some categories that we'll look into and how their skills go head to head. We'll look into their action skills head to head and any bit of lore that may be applicable to their strengths as far as the story mode. So Aurelia has many wonderful skills for those of us that want to snipe with her, like never miss, custom loads, quality not quantity, and only the best, whereas Zer0 has skills like bore, one shot, one kill, critical ascension, and kill confirmed. Before we dive into the first category, remember we are looking at these characters based on how good of a sniper they are, and that's it. So we're not going to be like, oh, well, this melee Zer0 build completely outclasses Aurelia, for example. No, we're looking at sniper head to head. All right, we're going to start with Aurelia's skills here, and she's got a ton of awesome skills for sniping, and I just mentioned a moment ago 4 skills, so we'll start with those. Never miss is an awesome skill for those of us that have the ability to land many shots in a row. What never miss does is stack 3.5% damage bonus onto your critical hit damage with a sniper rifle up to 999 stacks. The damage can get insane. And what is better here for Aurelia is the fact that Never Miss does not decay. So in certain situations, she can put away the sniper to fight, say, Torques and just kind of mow them down with an SMG. And then when it's time to fight some, enemies that it makes more sense to snipe, or, let's say you have a high amount of stacks right now and you're trying to save them for a boss fight or something, you're not going to lose them risking, a smaller target. You pull out the SMG and do your thing. The one thing that is the issue is you miss a shot, you lose those stacks. On to custom loads, and this is a cool skill that can do up to 30% elemental damage and 15% Nova damage upon a critical hit with a sniper rifle. Essentially, this skill gives you the ability to use a non-elemental sniper rifle in a manner that allows you to have an elemental effect bonus, and that's awesome because you can use a Jacobs, something that usually has bonuses for critical hits, or it's just stronger in general. Now, another cool thing with custom loads is if you are patient or you learn Aurelia very well, you can know basically where each element is on the wheel, so to speak. So you can kind of, play with it a bit and have it at the ready. So, maybe you're fighting somebody where corrosive makes sense. Boom, you can use corrosive. And if you stay scoped in, say, on a target from a distance, you'll stay on that element as long as you don't unscope. When it unscopes, it starts the cycle again, and you'll have to wait for it to cycle back around to fire your shot. So it's pretty useful. You can have cryo, explosive, corrosive, shock, and all the other ones. I don't need to keep going. Anyway, we'll move on to quality, not quantity. And what that does is deals bonuses when you use a weapon of blue rarity or higher. And when it's maxed out, you will receive 25% damage bonus and a 15% fire rate bonus. Now, extra damage never hurts. It definitely goes a long way, especially when you're dealing with a sniper. If you can build all of this, you can one-shot mobs and things like that, and that's great. And of course, the fire rate bonus really helps when you're using like a long nail, for example. Only the best is a good skill to have as a sniper because you'll have a bigger magazine in your rifle and your projectiles will travel 100% faster. That can help with anything in the distance. If you're dealing with a target at long range, it can help when they're moving to just kind of hit your critical spots. And when the bullets travel faster, if you have a gun that, say, doesn't have the best bullet speed, it'll ramp it up ×2 essentially, and that could make or break a gun pretty much. That skill can be really, really overpowered for guns that kind of are weak in that category. It can really make them something special. So another good couple of skills that I want to mention before we move to Zer0 is Magic Bullet, which can regen health on sniper critical hits, Long Range Killer, which can add 60% damage bonus for shots from a distance, and Markswoman, which when maxed out can give 30% critical hit damage bonus. and that allows you to scope in twice as fast for some sweet quick scope action. Alright, so we'll move on to Zer0, and we'll start with Bore, which gives you a 100% damage bonus per enemy pierced, which can be huge against a boss like Hyperius. When you couple that with a singularity grenade mod, which is just nuts, it pulls all of the enemies in, and when they're close, you can pierce 3, 4, 5 enemies at once and just melt people. One shot, one kill adds 60% bonus damage to the first shot out of your magazine, which is very nicely coupled with headshot, which deals 20% bonus damage to all critical hit damage. I think the applications of those two can really speak for themselves. Critical Ascension can stack up to 999 times and can deal 6% bonus critical hit damage and 5% bonus damage to sniper rifles per stack. You can be looking at insane bonus damage with this skill, but the stacks decay unlike Aurelia's. It should be mentioned that Aurelia's skill doesn't have as many bonuses, but that's the trade-off for not being able to lose the stacks when you're not hitting, critical hit after critical hit after critical hit. Kill Confirmed grants 40% critical hit bonus depending on how long you aim down the sights. One shot, one kill, headshot, and Kill Confirmed all work very well together. And some other good skills for sniping are Killer, which can add up to 50% critical hit bonus for a few seconds after a kill, and Velocity, which does the same as Aurelia's skill by speeding up bullets by 100%. So that's great. Now here's the question. So whose skills are better for sniping? Now it's very close here, but I've got to give it to Aurelia, and here's why. Aurelia has a handful of skills that deal bonus damage and critical hit damage, and in terms of never miss, there's a couple skills that can counteract losing the stacks by gaining stacks of wait for it, and Warning Shot, which grants you increased accuracy and critical hit damage for your next landed shot. So depending on the player you are, if you don't have the best aim, you can build into different categories to still remain a powerful sniper. Now that's a lot of great skills to have towards sniping, and a couple with the ability to turn non-elemental Jacob snipers with large critical hit bonuses, like I said earlier. Adding that elemental bonus is really, really a wonderful skill to have because its applications are pretty much useful on every enemy in the game. And the fact that our version of Headshot does 10% more damage than Zer0's skill gives you a really skilled sniper in Aurelia. So, I gotta say, Zer0's a great sniper and Bore is unbelievably good, but Aurelia just has more options for sniping than Zer0 does. So let's move on to the action skills. So let's talk about Deception. Now, Deception allows you to go invisible to your enemies for 6 seconds while throwing out a decoy that aggroes enemies away from Zer0, which can be great to reposition and utilize ambush and innervate. Deception can give Zer0 up to a 250% bonus critical hit damage, up to 200% bonus gun damage, and deals up to 650% bonus melee damage. Deception really shines when the player can get away from the target, line up a critical hit by utilizing any of those skills like Critical Ascension, one shot, one kill, headshot. Deception has great utility and effectiveness, making it a wonderful action skill. So let's move on to Aurelia's action skill, which has very high utility for her sniping abilities. The Frost Diadem Shard can seek out and deal constant cryo damage to enemies, which can slow them down a great deal, allowing the player to have an easy time landing critical hits, which can continue to gain and utilize Never Miss, Magic Bullet, Markswoman, Calling the Herd, and custom loads for the bonus Nova Blast damage. Aurelia's skill, very high utility for helping to dispatch many enemies, similar to Maya and her phase lock. Again, she's awesome for mobbing. So who's got the stronger action skill? I've got to give it to Zer0, man. You just can't deny those damage buffs. When he's in Deception, it has high utility, allowing him to get away from the fight and regen his shield if he needs to do that. And it's just too good for fighting bosses. This is the big thing that sets Zer0 apart from other snipers, because he's just a step above when it comes to boss fights. His skills can literally shred bosses. Okay, so it's time to discuss who is the better sniper, and I've got to give it to Zer0, man. It's close. Aurelia is a great sniper, but she's great at mobbing, and she's honestly just... When it comes to boss fights, yeah, we've seen videos online that you can do certain builds and you can kill EOS in one bullet. There's a lot that she can do, but let's not sit here and deny the fact that when it comes to dealing massive bores and massive damage as Zer0, it's easier to get into a position where you can hit a bore like that and do just unbelievable damage, whereas Aurelia, it takes a lot of preparation. You got to have the 999 stacks. You have to have this. Whereas Zer0, you get a decent rifle, you've got some stacks of critical ascension, and you're ready to bore. You toss the singularity, and boom, you're dealing unreal amounts of damage in just the sickest way possible. So that's the biggest thing, man. You know, mobbing is great. Mobbing is great for characters. Mobbing is a big part of the game. But when you look at somebody's strengths, if they are just gods against bosses, raid bosses, mini bosses, anything like that, they're naturally stronger. Like Aurelia, like I said, she's awesome for mobbing. Same with Maya. Maya is unbelievably good at mobbing and dealing with lots of enemies. But then when you compare somebody like that to Zer0, Zer0 melts bosses, and that's why he is more powerful. Alright guys, so that was the video. If you guys liked the video, consider leaving a like. If you got something to add, questions, concerns, ideas for future videos, drop a comment, and if you're into Borderlands, consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one. Later.